Hi, this is Isabel. So in today's video, the question that comes often in interview is tell me why you left your old job. And can be quite uncomfortable if there was an issue, maybe with a boss or within the organization. So how do you tackle it without really opening doors that you don't want to open? This is a question that comes up quite often with me, and how to solve this issue. So I want to give you 3 tips today on what to do when you're in this situation. Maybe you had a difficulty in the last job and you want to cover this with basically white gloves and go at it with diligence. So what is some of the things that you could do? Well, the first thing is really the advice that I give to my clients, and actually it's something I said in my previous video, is go about this question very fast. So you don't want to give the impression that there's something that's hidden, especially if you don't want to criticize your old boss. If you start talking too much about the situation, probably the recruiter wants to dig a little bit more. So one way to go about it is to go very fast. To say, look, I was in a situation where I wasn't growing anymore, and at some point, it was really hurting my motivation, so I decided to leave. So very, very quick, short and sweet, one sentence, and the tone needs to be also very, very sure of yourself. So work on the emotion part of it. So if, for example, if you were fired or there was an issue, usually people are a bit sensitive about it and it can show on their face. So you have to train yourself by recording over and over maybe the reply to this question, or work on the reply to this question. Make sure that it's very smooth. Again, maybe the first time it will look like, yes, I left my last company, my boss, and there was some issues and I wasn't sure how to tackle them and at the time, and blah, blah, blah. And you will talk and the recruiter will sense there's something there. But if you say, look, again, I wasn't growing anymore, there was no opportunity for me at that stage, so I decided to leave. You're not really leaving a lot of room for the recruiter to get more information, or to fish for more information. By giving short answers, again, you're keeping it very simple, very smooth. So that's one way to cover this whole thing about, not wanting to open doors that you don't want to open. That would get you maybe not the type of image that you want for this new opportunity that comes your way. Talking about an old boss is not something most people want to do, especially if it didn't work out so well. And we have a right as humans that maybe sometimes it doesn't work out very well in a job. Maybe you don't get along with the boss, but what I find is that why should that hurt you for the rest of your life? So in a way, I find that it's not hiding information. It's just that you don't want to speak about something that was painful, and it's your right as a human being. So you're not being really dishonest. You're not hiding anything. You just don't want to talk about something that was painful. And 99% of the time, when relationships end, especially work relationships, it's not really something you did wrong or the recruiter or the boss did wrong. It's mostly a personality issue. So it's nothing, no one's really at fault there. So that's one way you can convince yourself also that you didn't do anything wrong. Maybe it ended, the work contract ended because you weren't the right fit or the personalities didn't work out. It's already painful as it is to go through a bad relationship, then to have to open that door again in an interview. So keep it short, keep it sweet, and just, look like you are very comfortable with the whole thing. That leads me to tip number 2, is working on the emotions. Usually if you get fired or you had a bad situation in a job, you're really not feeling very well about yourself. And going through the interviews, the recruiter will be able to see that or sense that. So you really have to work on your emotions to really know what it is that you have to say. So when you prepare yourself at home, make sure that, I know I like to do this sometimes with people, being dressed up. Even if you're not meeting anyone in particular, you don't have phone calls, but just to look like you're polished, and it's going to also help you with your self-esteem. So really dressing up, I find, helps, and rehearsing. Again, most people don't want to rehearse because they think, well, when I'm in the situation, I will be. So the type of feedback I get from from clients or from people working coaching with me is that the day of the event, they believe that because they'll be in the situation, everything will come out naturally. This is not the case. If you're not trained to face any kind of situation, if you don't do something very regularly, you're not going to be great at it. So you need to repeat it many, many times before it comes across very nicely. So to come up with the one sentence I just gave earlier on why you left a company, it's going to take you many, many, many trials before you get it right. So again, emotions will come out, because especially if it was a difficult situation. So you have to learn how to manage that, to manage your emotions. And that's going to help you also for future situations. Probably you were fired or you were let go because the emotions got into place and spoiled the whole thing, whether it be on your boss's end or on your end. So dealing with the emotions during the interview, but also after you get hired, when you're going to be faced in the future with difficult personalities, difficult people, difficult situations, you're going to have to take it upon your emotions to not, maybe do things that you regret later or say things that you regret later. So working on the emotions is number 2. Number 3 is going to be insist on the growth aspect. So when you're interviewing, the reason why you left, or why you didn't work out very well with a boss, insist again on this, looking for growth and looking for new opportunities and something that the company couldn't offer you. So again, you're projecting more positive image, that you're someone who wants to learn, who wants to grow with the organization, and it's going to leave a much better image than trying to dig into things that didn't work out in the previous company. So to summarize everything in one word is really project in the future rather than stay in the past. And it seems easier than it actually is, because if you've had a difficult situation, and I've been there as well, it's going to take time to recover. And for the next 6 months to a year, you're probably going to have that's just there as a big weight that you have to carry with yourself, especially if you're the type of, I've had clients who are very successful and achievers and everything. So when you get to a stage where you hit a wall, maybe with an organization, you get fired or something wrong happens, it's going to take some time to accept it, recover from it, and move further. So really remember this, is that if you want to be impactful during the interview and you've had some hiccups in your resume, and that could be for anything else besides a bad boss, you're going to have to train yourself to recover emotionally. First of all, train yourself to make it sound like now you know what you're looking for. You're a grown individual. You worked on yourself. So that's going to basically outweigh the little hiccups on your resume, is to show now how much you learned from it and how you want to grow with an organization, you're mature, all these things. So I hope this helps, and if you have any questions, feel free to post below.